Who disrupts my coronation?
Everyone has been destroyed because of this freak. I won't allow it! These babies just saved this lame fest party!
Well, hello, and welcome to another show. This is not what we had planned. Obviously, on the last week's show, we said, hey, we're back. Birdman and Alex, the producer, are back for our regular weekly live / main topic shows for the year of 2026. And, stay tuned. We're going to get together probably in person to do a live show together next week. And lo and behold, this is a shorter show just with Alex, the producer. Now, this is my birthday weekend. Technically, as of this recording, I'm leaving in probably an hour or so after whenever I finish this recording. I'm leaving within an hour or two to go visit family and stay for a couple days while I celebrate my birthday, and we sort of do some get-togethers and that. And that was always the plan. But a day or two ago, we were going to be doing our live show together. Birdman and I were going to meet up in person, hang out, do something fun, and just get that sort of energy going. And I get a call saying, hey, dude, we're going to have to postpone because Birdman and Mrs. Birdman both got COVID again. they're in a plague house currently, and this is partially because Birdman compromised immune system. Being disabled is not the greatest thing in the world, obviously, and having Miss Birdman working in the education field comes in contact with lots of different interesting things. So just out of an abundance of concern, especially with me, if I were to visit and then spread it to my family or something, we were like, hey, let's he was not feeling well, and he's like, let's not do this. Can you do anything solo? And I went, okay. We already had our reviews pretty much ready to go for the show, but because of that, we were going to gather the news on the spot and do some fun stuff. We don't have that, so this is still considered a regular show, just with I'll put an extra review in here. We'll have 4 instead of the 3 that we usually have, and then fingers crossed, if everybody is feeling well and the plague doesn't spread further or whatever, then next week we'll have our regular show where we have the news gathered and everything, when I'm back from visiting family and the plague is now gone from a Casa Birdman. But yeah, so in this show, we have a review from Birdman himself on Final Fantasy VII, specifically the new port that's on Switch. We will have a couple from me. I've got a few that I've got ready to go. I'm not sure exactly which ones I'm putting in here just yet, but we'll see. And we should have something from Dave. So we'll get that together. I'll come back at the end here just with a quick, update on maybe what I'm doing for my birthday or what we're doing. If anybody's interested. It's been a cold, horrible last couple weeks of cold. We had a lot of snow like they had in the States as well, but it's been minus 25 or minus 30 Celsius with wind chill. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but for our American listeners, relatively, if you consider Canada, or at least where we live in Canada, to be cold, this time of year we're usually sitting at about minus 10. Zero is the freezing level here, right? So anything below 0 is what ice is formed at, right? So, and this time of year it's usually about minus 10, minus 15 with wind, and it's been minus 20, minus 30 with wind, which usually we get a 1 or 2 days like that. It's not like where JT lives out in Saskatchewan, where it's that cold a lot. It's not that cold here that often. It's still cold, but relatively, and it has been consistently minus 20 or more for like 2 weeks, and it is roughly cold, like bad. So we haven't been able to go out and do much, but I'll come back at the end just to sort of say what the plans are. But yeah, we've got some other programming coming up, and I'll come back and say that. But without further ado, I'm probably going to send it over to myself here with something, and we'll alternate with the reviews, and I'll come back at the end just to give a quick update. So short show this week. Sorry, no Birdman. Send him good thoughts, because having COVID for as many times as he's ended up getting it, it's not the most fun thing in the world. And I guess my birthday celebrations with him will have to extend beyond into February. But yeah, let's get into the reviews. I'll come back at the end, and I'll be right back right here at thisweekingeek.net. MIO, Memories in Orbit. This is a game that we were set for review. I'm playing it on the Nintendo Switch 2. This was sent to us from our friends over at Focus Entertainment Publishing. Now, this is a Metroidvania exploration platformer indie with sort of a watercolor aesthetic. We had actually seen this announced. Was it the Nintendo Direct or one of the shows? It was one of these shows, and I was sent a Switch code for it to review, and I was playing through it. I'm not usually, our go-to guy for Metroidvania stuff, because I'm somebody who likes a clear, direct narrative. This sort of kept me going. Like it flowed in such a way that it was kind of the natural progression. You can do some accessibility options for some difficulty settings. It's not as easy a playthrough as I would personally like for these sorts of games, but it's not quite as almost mean and cruel as a lot of other games in this genre can be. It has a really neat art style. I will say, playing it on Switch, it may not be like, I'm playing it on my Switch 2. I have it's a Switch 1 code that I received. It's not necessarily the best presentation. If you're playing this on, like, I've seen other videos and that on PC, or you're playing it on PlayStation or Xbox, you're going to get a better presentation, in that there's a lot of like color crushing and banding, and there's like chunky stuff that like loads in. It's not very well optimized. I'm saying that right off the bat on Switch. It played better in portable mode. So when I took it out of the dock and I'm playing on my Switch 2 in portable mode, and I imagine even better probably if you have a Switch OLED edition, like a Switch 1 OLED. But playing it on my 50-inch TV in the bedroom, or like the 65-inch TV in the living room, it looks kind of rough in places, the way it's struggling on the Switch. That being said, the frame rate didn't drop, so it's doing everything that it can to maintain the frame rate, which meant a lot of artifacting and stuff around the edges, and the color blocking and blending. Now, because of its sort of watercolor aesthetic design, it wasn't as jarring as it would have been if it was like a very highly like pixel detailed game. So your mileage may vary. If your concern is the art style and just the visual presentation, then you're probably not going to want to pick it up on Switch or Switch 2. And you'll want it on like PC, where you can max it out, or on like a PS5 or Series X or something. But if you can get past that, and I'll just say that that's the downside, at least of playing the version I played. Audio is atmospheric and well put together. The visual art style and everything is great. So that regardless of platform you play it on, the style comes through. Now, there's a lot of like aerial mobility when you're playing it. So it's a lot of verticality, finding little nooks and crannies to get into. There's a flow and vibe to this that I like quite well. I have not beaten it. I'll say that right now. I have not beaten it just yet, because I'm taking my time, simply because I am not great at these games whatsoever. But I am actually working my way through it, and it might be one of the first Metroidvania style games that I end up fully completing, because usually I get bored quick with these kind of games. I always try to give them a good college try. And then either I can't do it, or if I get stuck, I'll call my little brother, be like, "Can you come help me?" Because he is like this is his genre. This is like, he masters this stuff, and he'll be like, okay, and he'll come over and get me out of a spot where I'm stuck real quick. And it's funny. It's like, you're thinking, oh, is this like a reviewer is bad at games? It's like, I'm bad at some types of games. I'm not the greatest at certain ones. Pass me certain genres and I can just smoke anybody else. And we're all good at different things and we all have different likes. This being a genre that I'm not usually into, and me saying I like this, I think that's a testament to how well it's put together. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting from the trailers that I saw, but that being said, it has sort of pulled me in with just its atmospheric storytelling. So I do think it's worth checking out. If you're concerned what I said about like the visual quality or the presentation of it on the Switch, maybe watch a couple YouTube videos on it. But the gameplay is going to be pretty much the same across the platforms. Just if you are concerned with some of the visual aspects, some of the visual artifacting, it's just some of the issues of the platform specific stuff on the Switch, and you have the ability to play it on another platform, and you don't care about like ultra portability if you don't have like a PC Steam Deck or something, you still will have a good time with Switch. It's just, I do think if the visuals specifically are like the key most important thing to you, you'll want to check it out on one of the many other platforms it's available on. But otherwise, I think you'll have a really good time.
What you heard just now were the voices of the planet. Those born into this world, who lived and who died, who returned. They're howling in pain.
So what's Soldier Boy's deal? Is he one of us now?
This is a one-time gig. When it's done, we're done.
Y'all gotta look at the bigger picture here. Nothing worth fighting for was ever won without sacrifice.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here, and I'm here to talk to you about the Switch 2 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. This was provided to us by our folks over at Square Enix, and yeah, I'm talking about the Switch 2 port of this game. So what this is the first 2 parts of a 3-part series so far. So you get Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is the game that came out on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and other platforms. And you're also getting the Yuffie DLC, which is Final Fantasy Episode R Intermission. And if you get this game physical on the Switch 2, you also get a Final Fantasy VII Magic the Gathering Play Booster, not the Collector's Edition, which should be kind of mentioned. But you can still pull some pretty cool cards out of the booster packs. I've only seen them in print a few times since the release last summer, and honestly, it became a problem. I have the Cloud Commander deck for Magic the Gathering, and I'm very thankful that I have friends over at Wizards of the Coast. Anyway, what makes this game special? Okay, obviously, it's on the Switch 2, but what makes it really cool is if you pre-purchase this game, or buy it before the end of the month, you actually get the original copy of Final Fantasy VII as well. So if you want to see where this all started back on the original PlayStation back in the 90s when I was a kid, you can do that. And that's pretty cool. The thing that I really like about this is there's something called streamlined progression. And you might be asking, well, what the hell does that mean? Well, I'm glad you asked. So what this allows you to do is to turn on things to make the game easy if you want, or if you really just want to see the storyline without having to worry about grinding about AP to level up your materia, whether you're always running out of items or gil or whatever, or any piece of gear you pick up is already maxed out. Awesome. You want to learn that awesome weapon on the nail bat? Cool. You got it. It's awesome. I love it. I hope more games do this in the future, because I don't necessarily have like 80 hours to grind through something. I may only have 20 or 30, and I've got places to be and shit to do. So when I've had a chance to play this over the last couple of weeks, and I've probably put about 40 or 50 hours into this, and I am so surprised how well this runs on Switch 2. Now, it's a pretty big game. I'm not going to lie to you there. But when I compare it against the PlayStation 4 and 5 versions that I have played so far, the only thing I personally have noticed, and I'm by no means Digital Foundry or Alex with his weird eye for detail, There's maybe one or two textures that don't look great at times, but you really got to be looking for it. If you guys have followed my social media for any length of time, like be it my Instagram or Blue Sky or whatever, I love photo mode. I find myself still taking photos here. That's kind of fun, and that's how I know a game looks really, really pretty. And like just to know that now Switch 2 fans can participate in this amazingly epic Final Fantasy story. Like, I loved Final Fantasy when I was a kid, and when I had a chance to play it for break a couple years ago, I really fell in love with the characters. And last year I finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so much so that I have a Red 13 tattoo done up in Indigenous style on my right arm. That's how much I love Final Fantasy, and having a chance to revisit this again is such a nice refresher, and especially with that streamlined progression, I'm not having to worry, am I going to run out of time before my vacation's up? Am I going to run out of time before the next project comes up for TWIG? No, I can just play this at my own pace and not have to worry, and that is such a feature that I hope when Final Fantasy Rebirth comes out, which I'm hoping does happen at some point for the Switch 2. I can't imagine why it wouldn't. It'll include this type of feature. Like I said, this is fantastic. Like, I really have no notes about this. Like I said, it runs so well. You also get bonuses too. You get like a bunch of DLC for this too. Like, here's like some items, some materia summons and stuff like that. And it's such a fun time to know that I'm virtually caught up if I want to experience the whole Final Fantasy VII Remake storyline so far. Like I said, Square Enix really did a fantastic job with this. It's so good. I really want to get this on physical, just so I have it, because I don't have that many Switch 2 games physical, but having this seems important to me. And again, you get a Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering booster. Not going to complain about that whatsoever. In my honest opinion, this is a fantastic port. And the fact that it runs so well on Switch 2, we've had other friends of ours who've downloaded the demo for this, and even they're impressed. And the fact that I've got dozens of hours more than them, I think that's pretty cool. So what can I say about Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade on the Switch 2? It is a must own. If you've always wanted to experience the storyline, and if you're on this platform already, why not? What have you got to lose? It's a fan's X of time, especially with, like I said, the streamlined progression. I really like that. You're going to have fun saving the planet from the evils of the Shinra Electric Company. So join up with Avalanche, join Soldier, kick some butt, and save the planet. A review copy was provided to us by Square Enix in advance of this review.
This planet is my birthright.
I don't believe it. We played right into Shinra's hands.
The future isn't set in stone.
The world won't end today, but you will.
Alex, the producer, here with just a quickie review of Naked Ambition. This is a Blu-ray release from our friends over at Music Box. They have sent over a review copy. I had a chance to check it out. I had no idea really necessarily going into this what it was about, but it's really cool. It's about Bunny. Who is Bunny, you might ask? This is a documentary, sort of biopic documentary on Bunny, who was a photographer slash I guess almost like a women's lib revolutionary in the pinup girl photography realm back in the 50s, when that was still risque to do. She also ended up being one of the first photographers for like Playboy and doing like erotica photos, that sort of stuff, but also even like invented ways on how to do selfies back in the day when that was like couldn't do that. One of the examples they show is like tying like the picture taking like the actual like button pressing to a string, and she like used her toe and foot to like press it at the right moment while you're doing the right pose to take the picture. Really interesting stuff. It goes into a bit of like what the world was like, and especially like America's culture was like, you know, for and against that sort of stuff at the era. Lots of interviews with people that, you know, whose careers were influenced by her. Very, very fascinating release, worth a watch, especially if you're into like Americana of the era, and just like as a historical piece that I don't think has really been covered other ways before. As far as, you know, cinematography and that go, the release, it's clean video. It's obviously pretty static when it comes to interview shots, but the retro photos and footage and that has been cleaned up as best it can be. It looks great. There's bonus features that are well worth watching on the disc. Interviews with a couple directors, some deleted and additional scenes because this was put theatrically, so there's a little bit more here as well. The theatrical trailer for it, there's a subtitle track in English. The music, the whole field, it's very well edited, very well put together, something that you wouldn't necessarily expect for this kind of release, but it's got a lot of style to it. I recommend it. I learned actually a fair bit from it, so it's well worth it. So Naked Ambition, our friends at Music Box Films, I'll put a link in the description for it. Well worth it, and a good release that I don't think a lot of other like projects have covered anything like this in particular, but it's given me a whole new perspective on, I guess, like the pinup culture of the 50s and 60s, and just the idea that, you know, somebody with such a powerhouse behind it was a woman making her way in an era when that was kind of frowned upon in multiple aspects. So well worth checking out. I do highly recommend it.
Hey Twig listeners, this is David from Loose Cannon and Ram, back with another great book recommendation from our friends at Titan Books. Everyone is gearing up for a new year of movies, and one of the top titles on people's lips, of course, is Avengers Doomsday. But as we all prepare for Phase 6, jump back to Phase 3 in 2017 with a great entry from Marvel Studios' Infinity Saga with Spider-Man Homecoming, the art of the movie. Now, it's no secret that I'm a fan of books focused on films. Breaking down the behind the scenes, the how, the where, and the who can be very exciting deep dives on some of your favorite films or TV shows. And as you can guess, when it comes to Marvel films, there is a lot that goes into the creation of the superhero sagas that we know and love. Infinity Saga books are packed with exclusive content, including production stills, concept art, plus commentary from cast and crew, including director John Watts, Spider-Man himself Tom Holland, as well as Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige. Coming in at over 250 pages, this medium-sized coffee table book breaks down everything you could want to know, from the movie covering character creations, production locations, storyboarding the incredible action sequences, costuming, and so much more. Being a Michael Keaton fan, one of my favorite portions was the dissection of the Vulture's suit, like hearing about the wing design from Ryan Meinerding, head of visual development. Let me say also, this features some horrifying early designs that you get to see morph into the famous look that we got in the end. Producers will share their insights on the Washington Monument sequence and why a DC setting was prime for Spider-Man's heroic showcase. Trust me when I say the amount of information and images present in this book will treat any movie fan, superhero lover, or art enthusiast for days. And if you're curious about what other volumes from the Marvel Studios Infinity Saga, head over to titanbooks.com, where you can pick up other releases such as Iron Man, Thor, The Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and more. Break in your new year with a trip back to the high school life of Peter Parker in this 2025 reissue of Marvel Studios Infinity Saga, Spider-Man Homecoming, The Art of the Movie. Available now at titanbooks.com.
Those magnificent bastards!
Color me kooky, but something very odd is going on around here.
You're not allowed to talk anymore.
Alrighty, and that's going to do it for the show this week. What else do we have going on? Well, as of what's been planned, we have a new Earth vs. Soup coming for Attack from Space from 1965. That's coming out on Thursday. I think we have a new show syndicated that Birdman is working on that's in conjunction with one of the radio stations. that I think drops on the radio station stuff on Wednesday, maybe. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Sorry. And we should be syndicating it either same day or next day or so. So we'll see. Either that comes out also on Wednesday or sometime maybe Friday or Saturday. We'll see how that goes. But that is a new weekly show that we'll have coming out. We've got other content in the works, but that's basically it for this week. Plus, as of this recording, tomorrow you should be seeing a prototype on a upcoming game that the embargo drops on, and we should have an extended review. And as we do with all of our extended reviews, we try to make sure that there's no major spoilers involved, and that should be fun. And I guess it'll be happy birthday to me as of tomorrow. I'll be 39. Next year, 40. Yeah, the goal this year is to, for the last year of my 30s, get back on track, focused on healthy living. I want to drop 100 pounds, which sounds like a crazy amount to other people. No, it's a doable goal for somebody my size with dietary restrictions that I should be on. So the goal is lose 100 pounds by 40. Maybe work on my financing and budgeting. See if be less aimless in life is probably a best description. Try to get, healthy mind, healthy body, while doing like life goal stuff. I want to do some more streaming. I know I've been saying it for a long time, but I want to get a consistent streaming schedule down and really start doing this. And if I get one consistent viewer, it's all I care about. It's something mentally for me to do on top of what we're already doing here, just to get, just to have something consistent, creative, and have a great outlet that way. I want to get into maybe some electronic-y stuff like soldering, Arduino sort of kit stuff. I want to do some maker things, some things with my hands, learn a new skill like soldering. I also, and I wanted to do it for Christmas, but there wasn't time, I want to learn to crochet. I want to do soldering / electronics kit stuff, and I want to learn to crochet. I've got a few little kits here and there. I've got some crochet stuff. My grandmother used to make slippers and mitts and stuff, and it's like, you know what? I don't care. I want to do old granny type stuff. That's what I want to do. So that's my goal this year, is I want to do that. And then for people on the TWIG crew, if I can, I want to learn. I want to make like a little crochet, little tiny stuffed animal-y type stuff, and I want to give them out as gifts to people this year. That's my goal for the year. It's simple. It's simple, kind of lame, but kind of fun. I want to do, electronic-y tech stuff that I always like doing, but learning new skills there. I want to learn to crochet so that when I'm watching movies and stuff for review, that I can do something and I can make something, do something with my hands, be creative, and always keep doing something fun. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at. As far as other programming and things we're working on, there are other games that I've got for review that should be coming this week. We have, can I talk about this? All reviews I did. Yes, I believe I can talk about it. I am working through impressions. Probably won't be a full review, but it'll be an impressions on Neo 3 that's coming soon, as well as a port of Rune Factory Gardens Azuma, which I covered in the summer. It's being ported to other platforms. That will be coming sometime soon. As well as there's been ports of, the embargo's up on this, but I just haven't had time to do the review yet. But there's Dynasty Warriors Origins has come to Switch 2. I'll be talking about that. There's also expansions for it. And there's a bunch of movies and stuff that have come in. So we should have another review show, or at least on the main show, with some stuff like that from me over the next week or so. Beyond that, we do plan on doing new artwork for all of our podcasts. We're going to be doing a refresh of the website. It's taking longer than expected because we just haven't really gathered the time to put everything into it. But Birdman and I are brainstorming stuff. We want to have new pod art for every single show that we do separate. We have a few that are older and that haven't changed. We're doing a full refresh on everything. It's been 5 years since we did a mostly major refresh, and some of the pod art and stuff is even older than that. So it's time to do that. And we're going to be refreshing some of the intros and probably redoing some of the outros. So we'll be phasing those in over the course of the next couple of months. But that's it. We'll be back, I guess, next week. Fingers crossed, hopefully everybody's no longer sick and we're all ready to good to go. But we'll be back next week right here on thisweekingeek.net.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
Lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.